I've never seen anything like it.
The fire equivalent of an ice age.
Like peering into Dante's Inferno.
And it's only going to accelerate.
This new documentary takes a look at why wildfires have become more explosive and extensive. It's called Bring Your Own Brigade. The director focuses on the toll the fires take on firefighters as well as survivors who had to run for their lives. Well, the director is Lucy Walker, and she joins us now to talk about the film. Lucy, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Those images are just amazing. And you know, we keep hearing about how bad climate change is, but you say that's only partly to blame for wildfires getting bigger and more frequent. So what else is fueling this?
That's right. That's what I learned making this. I had assumed going in that it was just climate change because we've had these hottest years and these worst fires, right? And it kind of correlated. But there are other factors, and those factors include how we've suppressed the fire. We've been putting out all these fires, and the fuel's been stacking up. We've also had a lot of logging and a lot of invasive species. We've also built in these areas. And is that everything? I feel like there's a few factors, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some of them, but that's we don't sort of break down the menu list item in the movie, but that's actually what we sort of get into and learn about.
Well, it just goes to show you how many factors do take effect here when it comes to the wildfires. Now, you really got in there. You were with crews as they battled the wildfire here in Malibu. What did you learn from that experience?
My gosh, yeah, well, being with the firefighters, I learned a lot about what it's really like to be fighting these fires and quite how much pressure they're under and quite how much we're asking them to do with these terrible fire seasons and terrible fires. And I also learned, and also have friends, you know, who've lost their homes, what it's like to go through those fires and lose your homes, and in some cases to stay and fight. You know, some people, certainly I wouldn't have the courage to do it, but some people amazed me by staying back to defend their homes, and I really learned what that took and what that was about. And also following through, both from the firefighters' perspective, the toll with the PTSD and quite what it's like when people actually, sort of members of the public, kind of blame you for doing a bad job firefighting when they're, you know, when homes are lost, or as a resident when your home gets lost. What's that emotional journey, and how do you rebuild, and how do you move forward? So we kind of really follow these stories through by following the personal journeys of the firefighters and the residents through these terrible incidents.
And you know, you also featured the deadly fire in Paradise, California back in 2018. We all remember that. What were the differences between that one and the one in Malibu?
I think the similarities are striking to start with. You know, these places burn all the time. I was amazed to learn that Paradise and Malibu wasn't just one fire. It's an absolutely regular occurrence, and people lose their homes, you know, every decade on average in Paradise. And unfortunately, the Dixie Fire is now curling back and threatening Paradise and Concow, the areas we see burn in the movie today again. And those are the similarities. I think the differences are that in Paradise and Malibu, there's a big political and economic difference. In that Paradise, the median home price of burned homes was $200,000. In Malibu, it was $2 million. So there's a lot more economic resources in Malibu. But that's not to say that there aren't poor people too. You know, I met people that became homeless and still are homeless because of that fire. But on the other hand, you have people with their own private firefighters. The title of the movie, Bring Your Own Brigade, refers to being able to have your own private firefighters to defend your home. And that's increasingly what we're seeing in places like Malibu, where people have the means.
And Lucy, you say we've always had wildfires here in LA, of course, but for centuries, Native Americans knew how to control them. That's actually something I learned when I was in Yellowstone not too long ago. So what can we learn from Native Americans?
That's right. There's a whole culture of burning and fire being more like a friend or a tool rather than the enemy that we always have to fight and suppress. And the Native Americans used fire more as a tool to garden, to create safe passages, or protect their homes by burning around them, or to hunt, or to, if people were sneaking up on them. There's lots of ways in which fire was used by them. They often deliberately set fires to disinfect or to prevent their settlements being burned. And I think that's something that we increasingly need to look at, because as we put out all these fires, we've been stacking up all this fuel so that when we get an ignition, or we get a crazy lightning, or for some reason something sparks, we're not going to have these explosive amounts of fuel, which mean that with the wind and the fuel being what they are, they're just not possible to fight these fires before they've done a great deal of damage. I think that's hard for us to understand, that these fires are so bad. But we can look at native species like the giant sequoia, for example, these ultimate fire-adapted species that have lived through 50 fires already, but are now burning in these wildfires. Now, why? Because they can live in fire. In fact, their seed pods don't even open until smoke comes along. But actually, these fires are so much hotter and bigger now because the fuel has been so stacked up. So yes, we've always had fires in California, and I think we need to understand that they are inevitable. But what we need to think about is what happens when they do come through. Can we manage our fuels differently? Can we build differently so that when they do happen, we're not going to lose everything?
My goodness. Well, Bring Your Own Brigade is going to be debuting in theaters tomorrow and then stream on CBSN and Paramount Plus starting on August 20th. So looking forward to seeing that. Thank you so much, Lucy Walker, for joining us today. And the images we've been showing as you've been talking about the movie documentary there, just unbelievable. So really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.